Earth, the planet of life, the home of life. It's been billions of years that our planet has been existing in this universe. It has been sustaining itself until life was born in this planet. And beyond the life that it has given, magnificent sights of nature were discovered and admired. But there is more to this planet and universe than just physical appearances. There is so much more to see. And we, a group from BSA M6, will tell you some of these wonderful things that this world possesses. And we want you to know that the Earth is a very special place for everyone. Because we cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 1: Introduction to Earth Science. What is Mohs scale? Mohs scale is a chart of relative hardness of various minerals. In life wasn't made equivalently. We are all made unique in different aspects of our lives. We are based and ranked according to our skills, intelligence, wealthiness, and even how we fight in our problems, just like minerals. In accounting, if you give up, you're weak. But if you keep on aspiring and dreaming hard to be on top, you will shine like a diamond.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 2: Matter and Minerals. Covalent bonds explains an attractive force that holds atoms together. In life, you need someone to be complete. Another half to feel special. Without someone there wouldn't be an attractive force to build love. In accounting, business is like the atoms. It needs an attractive force to go further and something to hold it. Auditing, firming, and etc. helps the business go on and become stronger. It needs a foundation.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 3: The Rock Cycle. Like most Earth materials, rocks are created and destroyed in cycles. The rock cycle is a model that describes the formation, breakdown, and reformation of a rock as a result of sedimentary, igneous, and metamorphic process. If you'll relate it to life, as we all know, in life, history repeats itself. In short, it means that things which have happened in the past are bound to happen again in the future. Things will happen over and over again. Just like the rock cycle, it undergoes a process over and over again. In accounting takes process in the rock cycle. We need to journalize, place it to the ledger before you put it in the worksheet and close it. Like how rocks form, it takes a process.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 4: Weathering, Soil, and Mass Wasting. Mechanical weathering is the breaking up of rocks into smaller pieces. In life, we thought that weathering is not important, but we need it because rocks are like problems. We need to break it down into smaller pieces before solving it. In accountancy, we need weathering, especially for our cash. We need to break it down into smaller pieces for our assets to grow. And soon we will see our breaking down of rocks to form another big rock of cash or assets.
We We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 5. Running water and groundwater. The running water is the single most important agent sculpturing Earth's land surface, while groundwater is the water within the Earth, especially that supplies wells and springs. In relation to life, running water is the life. It runs and never stops. The groundwater of life is the happenings of the surrounding. Without the happenings of the surrounding, the life is worthless. In referring to accountancy, running water is like the cash in hand and in business. The groundwater is investment of the business, which is where the supplies, equipments, and vehicles got cash for purchases. That's Shot of Tide. Thank you.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 6. Glaciers, Desert, and Wind. Desert is an area that apparently devoids water. Like our nature, if we will continue to do things negatively and badly, then we will feel the heat, warm, and we will be experiencing the baldness of it. So as like of accounting, we should debit all the good things that will make our nature better. And also, we should credit all the negative things and bad things that may lead us to pay for the future.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 7. Plate Tectonics. The continental drift, which says that supercontinent called Pangaea began breaking apart about 200 million years ago, which is said to be the reason how continents drifted to its present positions. When it started breaking, a domino effect somehow happened, and other continents continued to break from each other. This domino effect also happens in accountancy. Once one transaction is wrongly journalized, the ledger and trial balance will also be wrong. This Pangaea can never be brought back into its original shape. Just like in life, trust, when broken, can never be back again. Time may be able to heal it, but you can always see the cracks.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 8. Earthquake and Earth's Interior. In the formation of tsunami, there is a displacement, which forms waves. Pag yung depth higher, yung speed niya is faster. Pero pag lower na, yung speed niya is slower. Pero as lumalapit siya sa shore, yung height ng tsunami or yung wave tumataas. So, like in life, yung problem natin, yun yung displacement. Then habang lumalapit siya, hindi natin nakikita kasi hindi pa nga siya mataas. Kung kailan natin nakikita na yung tsunami or yung problem natin, mataas na siya. So, doon pa tayo na-aware, doon pa natin nasa-solve kung kailan yung problema natin, malaki na. In accounting, mas sumaba yung years natin sa kursong ito, mas dumadami ang ating kaalaman, mas nahihirapan tayong makasurvive sa course.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 9. Volcanoes. Volcanoes and other igneous activity begins with a description of nature of volcanic eruptions and how the composition, temperatures, and volatiles affect the viscosity of magma. Life is like a volcano. Sometimes we are active enough, but sometimes we are dormant. Sometimes we burst our anger, but sometimes we are quiet. Accountancy is like a volcano that is about to erupt. We may feel pressures, trials, and even problems. We tend to burst it and cry just like the eruption of a volcano. But the form of the business, we must stand and fight for it.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 10. Mountain Building. In this chapter, there are 4 factors that affect rock strength, namely temperature, confining pressure, time, and rock type. Time is one of the biggest factors because the longer the time, the rarer a rock is. Like in our lives, as we grow older, we gather different experiences through time. And through these experiences, we overcome confining pressure, like in accountancy. Every challenge we face, we are pressured to do good, but in the end, we adapt to what we do.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 11. Geologic Time. It describes the timing and relationships between events that have occurred throughout Earth's history. In relation to life, for example, my journey from the day I was born up to now that I'm already a teen, it simply means that each one of us has our own stages or timeline of life. In relation to my course, which is BS Accountancy, we also undergo into a step-by-step process. We cannot reach a successful end without starting anything.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Earth's evolution through geologic time scale. Earth is a long, complex and history. Time and again, the splitting and colliding of continents have resulted in the formation of new ocean basins and as well as the creation of great mountain ranges. Furthermore, the nature of life in our planet has experienced dramatic changes through time. And related to our life, as years passes by, there are a lot of changes as well as the geologic time scale. And in relation to my course, there are a lot of new challenges or there are new things that would happen as the years times until I finish this course.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 13, Ocean Water. Our world is often called as the water planet. It is filled with ocean water. Ocean water that is very vast and very deep. In our life, we can relate ocean as our problems. We may encounter different problems that is very vast and may even make us go wild. And in also accounting, we can experience problems such as loss and even bankruptcy. But what really matters is how we swim to the water, how we handle it, and how we react to it. Because whether we like it or not, water is really there. Problem is really there. It cannot be eliminated.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 14, Ocean Water and Ocean Life. Ocean life, or marine life, is adapted to the oceans. Marine organisms are classified into three, according to their habitat and mobility. In human life, people are also classified. Ordinary people are planktons, or little ones, but contribute to the society. Students are nectons who swim towards success. And people who dwell against poverty are the bentos. As accountancy students, we are nectons. We are swimmers. We swim towards our goal and go against the ocean currents or the temptations of mediocrity and strive for magis. And hopefully, this will help us achieve our goals.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 15, The Dynamic Ocean. 70% of Earth is composed of water and it is one of the sources of life on Earth. Ocean waves are disturbances in the ocean that transmit energy from one place to another. In life, waves serves as trials. There are small, big, and they even occur simultaneously. But just remember, live life with the flow. There are big and small waves in the ocean, and they are like accounting transactions. There are transactions that looks easy, but they need thorough understanding and efficient learnings for them to be answered.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
16. The atmosphere. One of the components of the atmosphere is the ozone layer. Basically, the atmosphere protects the Earth from the deadly ultraviolet rays. And we live our life protecting ourselves or even other people, just like the ozone layer protects the Earth. In accountancy, the ozone layer is like the accountant. The recordings of the transaction first passes the accountant, just as the UV rays passes through the ozone layer.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
17. Clouds, Moisture, and Precipitation. Ang chapter 17 ay nag-revolve lang siya sa water vapor. Water vapor ay colorless at odorless gas that changes from one state to another. Its processes are sublimation, freezing, melting, and etc. In life, kahit kung solid ka man, pag tinamaan ka ng problems, mag-melt ka talaga sa liquid or kung worst, gas, parang sublimation at melting lang. Itong cycle na ito, ay nabuo para magkaroon ng balance. Tulad sa accounting kung may debit, may credit.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 19. Weather patterns and severe storms. Storm. It is an occurrence of bad weather in which there is a lot of rain, snow, and etc. In reality, it represents the challenges in life that we encounter and that we have to surpass. The storm represents the errors, and there are times that you might think that you already heard an idea. In accountancy, there are storms that we expect, but there are also storms that we can't predict. In accounting, when it comes to trial balance, we know what we will do to balance the total. But sometimes, we're having a hard time and struggling on what we will do. But still, we end up unbalanced. Like storms, sometimes we could predict it, and sometimes we don't. And so, we're not prepared for it, so we won't know what we will do.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 20. Climate. Climate is the aggregate of weather conditions for a place or region over a long period of time. Earth's climate system involves the exchanges of energy and moisture that occur among the atmosphere, hydrosphere, solid earth, biosphere, and cryosphere. In relation to life, life affects the composition of the atmosphere and therefore the climate. Because different life forms take in and release gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and oxygen at different rates. In relation to accountancy, climate change will increasingly alter rules for doing business. There will be winning industries and winning companies. There will be also losing ones. Large mainstream investors, such as pension funds, want to know which companies are the likely winners and which are the riskier investments in a low-carbon economy. Thank you!
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 21. Origins of the modern astronomy. In 312 BC, Aristarchus, the first Greek to profess heliocentric, which means sun is the center of the universe. Meteorites, comets, stars, planets, everything rotates around the sun. As an accountancy student, just like the sun, accounting becomes the center of our life, our focus. We do everything for our beloved major. On the other hand, in life, sun is like someone we love, a special someone. When we fall in love with them, they became the light of our life. We rely our life to them. Sometimes they become the life itself.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 22. The Solar System. The solar system is composed and made up of the Sun and its planets. Each planet follows their own orbit in the solar system. Like life, we people have our own paths to follow and pursue. But in order to be better individuals, we should follow the right one. The same thing with my preferred course, accountancy. We follow a specific way in order for us to have a good result and a successful career.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 23. Light, Astronomical Observation, and the Sun. The Sun is one of the 200 billion stars in our galaxy. The Sun is the source of our daylight. It is the prime source of the energy that we get from the food that we eat. We will never be alive without the Sun. Like in accounting, the business can't survive without it. The business can't be a successful one without a proper control of money.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Chapter 24. Beyond our solar system. This chapter talks about the universe, which is a collection of dust clouds, stars, stellar remnants, and galaxies. I can pertain this in life in a way that the sun serves as our father, while the stars serves as our mother. The sun is our light, while the stars are our existence. In accounting, I can refer this to the balancing of debit and credit. We receive oxygen, but in turn, we give out carbon dioxide.
We cannot live without Earth, but the Earth can live without us.
Madilim or okay lang? Hindi siya madilim. Ito siya, madilim. The rock side.
Chapter 4. Weathering, Soil, and Mass Wasting. Mechanical weathering.
And Earth's interior. In the formation of tsunamis, there is a displacement. And when there is a displacement, there forms a wave. Waves
Clear na po siya.
Salita good, Mike. Sawa ka daw, try daw. Tapos yung please ka magtingin, doon ka magtingin. Activity.
Sige na, start na lang, ano.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Kailan? Uy, yung tagawa sa... Uy, mo gawa sa... Lights, camera, action.
Chapter 9. Volcanoes. Volcanoes and other igneous activity begins with a description of the nature of volcanic eruptions and how the composition, temperatures, and volatiles affect the viscosity of matter. Life is like a volcano. Sometimes we are active, but sometimes we are not. We are dormant. Wait, no!
Chapter 10. Mountain. Chapter 10. Mountain building. In this chapter, there are 4 factors that affect rock strength, namely temperature, confining pressure, time, and rock type. Temperature. Each kind of rock has different strengths, strength types,
Chapter 11, Geologic. Chapter 11, Geologic Time. It describes the timing and relationships between events that have occurred throughout Earth's history in relation to life. For example, my journey from day I was born. Oh, mali talaga, from the day I was born. Last na lang talaga yun.
Chapter 17. Clouds, Moisture, and Precipitation. Ang Chapter 17, nag-revolve lang siya sa water vapor. Ang water vapor ay isang odorless and colorless gas that changes from one state of matter to another. Its processes are sublimation of
Chapter 20. Climate. Climate is the aggregate of weather conditions for a place or region over a long period of time. Earth's climate system involves the exchanges of energy and moisture that occur among the atmosphere, hydrosphere, solid...
As in? Di ka gusto. Kasi madami lang. Practice ako last. Sa ganito, L.
Chapter 24. Beyond our solar system. This chapter talks about the universe, which is a collection of dust clouds, stars, stellar remnants, and galaxies. I can drink beyond our solar system. This chapter talks about the universe, which is a collection of stars.
Matuya ka pumadunggan ha. Pagkatapat sa mong science. 1, 2, 3, go. Guwapa ko! Kita. Science to siya. Diba? Bilang na ako. Tapos lang. Testing lang daw para madunggan. Kung madunggan